Yeah, it's called it. I'm giving you the video today. 5 things I love about the Celica. I've had the Celica for 5 years before I sold it, so I can kind of give you a rough idea what I liked, what I disliked about the car. So let's get right into the video. Number one, the fuel economy is very great. The fuel economy, you could probably expect between 28 to 30 miles per gallon, which means like per gallon you can probably get yourself from, if you live in Connecticut, from Torrington to Waterbury on one tatch. From one tatch I can probably get myself from Torrington to Canaan, Canaan. You guys can do the calculations, look them up. So that's like a 30-minute drive. That's what I love about Celica. The MPG is really good. Just as long as you keep up with the maintenance stuff, fuel pump, fuel injectors, you're cleaning it, cleaning the engine, you're doing your maintenance, you'll always have good MPG. You will not have good MPG if you're consistently beating the heck out of your car and not doing what you're supposed to be doing with the car, which is doing basic maintenance with it, which most people, you'll be surprised, forget how to do those things. So don't be surprised if you get a car and it's shitty if they haven't taken care of it. Expect your MPG to not be so good. Excuse me, I'm like stuttering and stuff. So that's number one. The MPG to the car is great. Number two, what I like about the Celica is I guess just the general stability of the car. From stock, you get a sports car. It can't compare to the Corolla, and it can't compare to the and it can't compare to any other car really, besides, I'm exaggerating probably, but the Supra, maybe something like the MR2. It might compare to those aspects, not as equally as speed wise, but sportiness of the car. Like, you're sitting in the car, you're steering the car, you're having a good time, you're taking corners. It's great right off the box with the 15s, GTS with the 16s. That's what's great. Right out of the box, the car is pretty decently low. The steering system is good. Everything straight out of the box is just great. Like, my car was completely stock. It had 200,000 miles. The car had everything stock. I think, was everything stock on it? Yeah, for the most part. Literally, yeah, for the most part, everything was stock. I think the only thing that wasn't stock was probably the radio, but I think that was about it. But maintenance was done well on the car. It was a great car. But straight out of the box, it was good. And I think I drove it like that stock for maybe about like 7 months to 8 months until I upgraded wheels. I put the Canon drop-in filter. And I think I did fog lights on it. I think those were my first mods. And the carbon fiber hood, but that was given to me for free. What else can I say? Number three. The number three thing that I liked about the Celica is there's where Hondas and the Toyota Celica Civic, now that I have this, I guess, open thought now, is that the Celica platform is cheap. Let me give you a good example right now. Short throw shifter for a 2003 Celica GT. And people are going to say, oh, you can't compare it because of the fact that the Celica platform is gone. No, you could absolutely compare to these things. I'm just trying to connect. Just give me a couple minutes. So the short shifter for a 2003 Celica GT, the short shifter is probably going to be like 80 bucks, I think, 70. Not even. Look at that, $66. If you want something super fancy, like a Fidanza short throw shifter, $100. Generic Manzo short shifter, $70. Between 70 and 60. Look at the Civic platform. I'm just gonna look up for a base model Civic. Maybe that might work. Short shifter for a base model Civic. 150, 130, 50, but that's just for the little nub, I guess, if that's what's considered a short throw shifter. When I consider short throw shifter, it's the rod. You're getting the strongholds of the base of the short shifter. Give me a second. Let me look at this eBay listing. Oh, okay. So it has like a sort of like different system to it. So maybe you're looking at by like $10 cheaper on the Civic side. So you're not. I guess it's not sort of off, but I guess the agreeability of the Civic. Some platforms are horrible for like upgradability stuff. So like the Hyundai Sonatas, let's say, for an example, let's say your regular. I guess Hondas and Toyotas are pretty common for finding upgradability, but so for finding stuff cheap for the Celica, just like the Honda Civic platform, it's good. But the availability for these stuff can be a little bit off. So keep that in mind. The Celica platform is cheap. There's always a forum out there that'll help you out, just like the Civic platform. And if you ever need help, there's always somebody that knows something, because there's already people out there that already turned the platform around, case swapped it, whatever. That's what I liked about the Celica platform, is that the aftermarket stuff and the groups that you can join are there. The forums are still going on. The Celica forums on Facebook are still going on. And most probably somebody has done it before if you're having a question about something. Number 4. The fourth reason why I love the Celica is it's a great learner car, as it is straight out of the box. You get a great learner car. Just like the Civic Si might not be the great learner car, but the base model Civic could be a great learner car. I think I learned in a Celica, so I can't compare apples to pears. But somebody who's owned the Civic, drop your comment below of what you think about the Civic. Is it a better daily driver than the Celica? Is it a great beginner manual car driver for somebody that's starting out than the Celica? From my experience, the Celica is a great starter car. The throws are easy and long for somebody that's starting out, so they know that they're in gear. And the clutch isn't as rough. It's sporty, but not as rough as some platforms. And you get the get-go straight out of the box. And it's slow, but that's what makes it a good beginner car. You don't need to go fast as a beginner. You want to make sure you're feeling the clutch. Your car, you can physically know that it's in gear. You don't have to second doubt yourself if it's in gear or not because of a short shifter or the gradability that comes from stock, like the Civic Si, or maybe like a Veloster N. I don't know, something like that. So number 4 reason why I like the car is because it's a great beginner car. It's easy if you're doing hills. It's a great car. It's not heavy. It's easy to get around corners if you ever have to do evasive movements. The only thing that I dislike about the fact that I learned on this Celica is the fact that the headlights, man. The headlights suck. Like, your high beams aren't really high beams because of the fact that your car is sitting so, not necessarily low, but just how the headlights are built is just weird, and I never liked the headlights when it comes to that car. Not the shape of them, but how they display and project the light. So number 4, it's a great beginner car, and everything is cheap on it. So we'll do number 4. It's a beginner car. Everything is cheap on it. You're on 15, so your tires are going to be super cheap. Your brake jobs, super cheap. And I think that's the same aspect for Toyotas and Hondas, is that anything that you get for them, some things you can cut corners. I've cut corners on some things, and some other things you can't. Things you can cut corners on is like stuff like sway bar links, tie rod ends. Things I wouldn't cut corners on is like brakes. Make sure you're getting good brakes. Make sure you're getting good brake lines. And that's just based on my own personal experience with buying cheap stuff for this car. Some stuff you just don't buy cheap, like calipers. And yeah, number 5, last but not least. So number 1 was the fact that I love the Celica because of the fact that the MPG has good MPG. Number two was the fact that man, I forget these so quickly. We'll say it's a great beginner car. Number three, the aftermarket availability on things in groups and stuff like that. I'm probably messing up the order, but the aftermarket, the groups on these cars are still going on, so you can always find information anywhere. Number four is beginner driving, so he makes a great beginner car. And number five is going to be, what's my five? And I think my five is going to be my least favorite thing about this car is the greatest thing you can do with the Celica is that the wheel fitment on this car is fantastic. I ran 9.5 wheels in the front and in the back, and all you had to do was put coilovers on the car and you were set. You can use the stock sway bar links and everything else stock. You just had to buy coilovers so that the wheel can clear the strut, because sometimes if they're too wide it can hit the strut, etc., etc. And I ran 18s. I ran 18 5x100 Whistler wheels. So I'm planning on doing that on my Civic again. Yeah, the fact that you can run wide ass wheels on this car is fantastic. And I think I ran like a 5mm spacer. I didn't even run that big of a spacer. I used my stock studs. And I ran like that for I think like 2 years. And I never had any issues at all. No tires balding and stuff like that. And you can always get your wheels from Subarus too. I love that. If you live in New England, it's fantastic because of the fact that everyone around here drives old Subarus between 2010 and 2000. Between 2010 and 2000, just about, something like that. You can use those Subaru wheels and put them on. And they work just fine on the Celica. That's what I loved about them, because wheels were everywhere for that car. Now, when it comes with the Civic, everyone has Civics, but some people run wider setups on the Civic because they want to run more aggressive wheel. But the problem with that is that your suspension setup has to adjust according to that wheel with the Civic, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, drop a comment below, correct me. But I'm pretty sure some wide wheels don't fit the Civic, depending on what you have, the Civic Si Coupe or the Civic Si Sedan. So you have to be careful with those things. But with my car, with the Celica, I could just throw on whatever wheel I wanted on there. As long as it was a Subaru wheel, and it doesn't pass 9.5, I was set. And that's what I loved about that car, is that the wheel, you weren't limited to any type of wheel, really. I think the only thing you were limited to was the wheel option based on your stock strut. But if you wanted to put on a coilover, or you're already on coilovers, not on lowering springs because it won't work, but if you're already on coilovers and you want to put a wheel, anything will fit that car, just as long as you don't go as wide as 10.5. But 9.5 is pretty common with most Subaru people, especially thinking about the Subaru being like a 4-door car and all that other stuff. And yeah, that's what I loved about my Celica. Let's finish off the video. Would I buy another one? Yeah, I would buy another Celica. That car got me through so much, and I think no matter what abuse I put towards that car while doing maintenance on it early, it lasted me a very long time. That car had, if I kept the stock motor, 280,000 miles before I think after I sold it, if it had the stock motor, but it didn't, because of the fact that I burnt so much oil. And that could be based on solely on maintenance from the previous owner, and that's why I started burning oil. But that car took battles, man. That car went from an owner who kept the stock to me who did everything on that car that I ever wanted on it. And that, yes, that's including clutch, taking out the transmission myself. I got so much experience off that car. Motor replacement, exhaust, intake. I think the fuel injector O-rings on there, spark plugs, coils, valve cover, gasket, so much. I did so much to that car. And if you're trying to learn, I'll pitch in a bonus if you reach the end of this video, which you have, because this is going to be the end, is that if you're learning how to work on cars, don't let people tell you that the Civic is a good car to learn how to do mechanic stuff. The Celica, straight out of the box, is the great car to learn how to do stuff on. This was me starting from zero, from a 4G63 Eclipse into the Celica. Literally, like, to take out the transmission on the Celica, I'll try to cut it short and sweet. You take off the knuckle, obviously. Take out the axles. You take out the axle carrier, motor mounts, linkages. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing stuff. Transmission, drain it. Transmission bolt, starter. I don't think I even had to take out the starter. I don't think so. Obviously the mounts, everything came right out. It maybe took me like, I think like a day to take out the transmission. And in my Eclipse, it took me like, I think like a week. So, and doing valve covers are easy too. There's nothing really much you gotta move for the Celica. Alternator replacement, super easy. Doing belts, you know, your basic maintenance, brakes, tie rod ends, sway bar links, exhaust stuff. Everything was just so easy. So if you're trying to get a Celica to learn how to do car stuff on it, do it. Pull the trigger on it, get yourself one. Not sure, I can't vouch for the GTS, but I can tell you this much because I own a Civic Si now, that's stock. The Celica GTS is quicker than the Civic Si. And now I know that because of me driving this car. The Celica GTS is quicker than the Civic Si. If you're debating on getting the Civic Si or the Celica GTS, go for the GTS if you want to be at least a little bit quicker. And straight from the get-go, you will. If you guys want more videos like this, let me know. Drop it below. As soon as I get to a year of owning my Civic, I will drop a video of 1 year, what's my likes, what are my dislikes about the Civic compared to the Celica. But for now, I own a Civic now, so if you're following this page, you're going to see mostly Civic content now. I'll try to upload Celica content from past memories if you guys want to see those and ask me some questions. I haven't really done a lot. I feel like I haven't done a lot with Celica stuff, but I feel like I have. So if I don't have an answer to your question, I will most probably find somebody that can answer that question for you, and then I'll text you, I'll DM you, rather through Instagram, through the YouTube comments, and I'll let you guys know. If you guys like that video, drop a like below, comment please, because that's how I make these videos. So, peace out, love you guys, check it out below. Walmart Supra Type R, I don't know. See ya.